قال ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربي زدني علما. Hello everyone, thank you very much watching my video. Today we have completed a 22 lecture. Without your kind and unprecedented support, we cannot make this channel a grand success. Please subscribe our channel if you haven't done so far. We are a partner. We can convert our challenges into opportunities and opportunities into a success story. In my earlier lecture, we have discussed stress management, part 1, flexibility. Today, we are going to discuss stress tolerance. So, in my next slide, we will explain what is emotional intelligence, and then we will run a complete trail on stress tolerance. Okay, now we are still discussing stage 2, emotional intelligence of leadership versatility index. On later stage, personality assessment, organizational behavior. Okay, what is the balanced emotional intelligence? Happiness, satisfied with life and content. Happiness includes feelings of satisfaction, contentment, and the ability to enjoy the many aspects of one's life. It is different than the other emotional intelligence abilities in that happiness both contributes to and is a product of emotional intelligence. As you know, balanced emotional intelligence comprises of 4 segments: self-regard, optimisms, interpersonal relationship, and self-actualizations. What is self-regard? If you could improve one facet of your life, what would it be? Why? Aside from material things, what is it about you that makes you truly happy? In optimisms, when are you the least optimistic? How could your outlook be improved in these situations? When faced with a new challenge, how do you typically feel? List your emotions and think about why you feel this way. In number 3, interpersonal relationship. Are there times when you struggle with your relationship? If so, what causes the struggle and how do you remedy conflict and miscommunication? Do you have a mentor? Do you act as a mentor to someone else? Number 3, self-actualizations. Identify that you value most in life. Are you spending enough time on the activities most important to you? What legacy will you leave behind? So these are the well-being indicators how the emotional intelligence reflect as far as leadership versatility index is concerned. Okay, model for emotional intelligence, stress tolerance lesson number 2, coping with stressful situations. What are the key takeaway points from these lectures? Number 1, understanding stress tolerance, impact at work, emotional implication, and social and behavior implications. Number 3, how to develop strategies and their impact, the little signs of exhaustions, leveraging emotional intelligence, and last but not least, emotional intelligence as far as the stress tolerance is concerned. So in my next slide, we will run a complete trail or recap the lecture which we have completed so far on a model of emotional intelligence. Okay, last couple of months we have run a complete trail and published 12 lectures, 3 lecture on each segments: self-perceptions, self-expressions, interpersonal decisions making. Now we have started stress management. Stress management also includes 3 lectures. So before starting a stress management, I would like to give a brief about self-perception, expression, interpersonal decisions making. Okay, first we will talk about self-perception, brief about the self-regard, self-actualization, self-awareness. What is the self-regard? Self-regard, respecting oneself while understanding and accepting one's strengths and weaknesses. Self-regard is often associated with feelings of inner strength and self-confidence. That is number one. Number two, self-actualization is the willingness to persistently try to improve oneself and engage in pursuit of personally relevant and meaningful objectives that lead to a rich and enjoyable life. Number three, self awareness. This is also known as emotional self awareness, which includes recognizing and understanding one's own emotions. This includes the ability to differentiate between subtleties in one's own emotions while understanding the cause of these emotions and the impact they have on one's own thoughts and action and those of others. So, now we are going to talk about self expressions. First, self emotional expression, assertiveness, and independence pulse. First, I will give some pulse on emotional expressions. Is openly expressing one's feeling verbally and non-verbally. Number two, assertiveness involves communicating feelings, beliefs, and thoughts openly and defending personal rights and values in a social, acceptable, non-offensive, and non-destructive manners. Number three, independence. The ability to be self-directed and free from emotional dependency on others. Decisions making, planning, and daily tasks are completed independently. So that is number two. Number three, interpersonal, and it also includes three sections: interpersonal relationship, empathy, and social responsibilities. Interpersonal relationship, the skill of developing and maintaining a mutual satisfying relationship that are characterized by trust and compassion. Number two, empathy, recognizing, understanding, and appreciating how other people feel. Empathy involves being able to articulate your understanding of an other's perspective and behaving in a way that respect others' feelings. Okay, number three, a social responsibility. Social responsibility is willingly contributing to society, to one's social group, and generally to the welfare of others. Social responsibility involves acting responsibility, having a social consciousness, and showing concern for the greater community objectives. Okay, now decisions making. First is a problem solving, then reality testing and impulse control. Problem solving is the ability to find a solution to problems in situations where emotions are involved. Problem solving includes the ability to understand how emotions impact decisions making. Reality testing is the capacity to remain objective by seeing things as they really are. This capacity involves recognizing when emotions or personal bias can cause one to be less objective. Number three, impulse control is the ability to resist or delay an impulse, drive, or temptation to act and involves avoiding rash behavior and decisions making. Number fifth, stress management. So we will discuss a flexibility, stress tolerance, and optimism, and then we'll give a complete trail on flexibility. Okay, flexibility is the adopting emotions, thoughts, and behavior to unfamiliar, predictable, and dynamic circumstances or ideas. Number two, stress tolerance involves coping with stressful or difficult situation and believing that one can manage or influence situations in a positive manner. Number three, optimism is an indicator of one's positive attitude and outlook on life. It involves remaining hopeful and resilient despite occasional setback. So that is how these 5 segments are being discussed. Please explore my YouTube channel and you can give me your input feedback on 12th lecture already available on my YouTube channel. Okay, model of emotional intelligence, stress management. Today we'll give a complete trail on flexibility. Later on we'll discuss stress tolerance, and then lecture number 3 will be optimism. What is flexibility? Flexibility is adopting emotions, thoughts, and behavior to unfamiliar, unpredictable, and dynamic circumstances or ideas. What is stress tolerance? Involves coping with stressful or difficult situation and believing that one can manage or influence situation in a positive manner. Number 3, optimisms is an indicator of one's positive attitude and outlook on life. It involves remaining hopeful and resilient despite occasional setback. These 2 lectures we will discuss next couple of weeks. Okay, model of emotional intelligence, stress management. Today we are going to run a complete trail on stress tolerance. Before start our trail on stress tolerance, we will give a recap on flexibility, stress tolerance, and optimisms. What is flexibility? Flexibility is adopting emotions, thoughts, and behavior to unfamiliar, unpredictable, dynamic circumstances or ideas. Number 2, stress tolerance. What is stress tolerance? This involves coping with stressful situation and believing that one can manage or influence the difficult situations. Number 3, optimism. What is optimism? Optimism is an indicator one's a positive attitude and outlook of life. It involves remaining hopeful, resilient despite opinion setback. Now, on my next slide, we are going to run a complete trail on stress tolerance. Okay, stress tolerance. This involves coping with stressful, difficult situations and believing that one can manage or influence the difficult situations. Mean coping with stressful situation. Okay, stress tolerance, coping with stressful situation. Stressful tolerance is the ability to cope with and respond effectively to stress and mounting pressure. You must be well armed to withstand this stress. Frequent drawing on your collection or selection scoping strategy, you are able to manage your emotion, remain composed, and maintain performance. Even when times get rough, you likely use your emotions, for example, optimism, to your advantage and feel that you are in control with the following characters. Number 1, you see stress, completion, or pressure as a challenge, perhaps to the point of thriving. In such condition, you actively cope with stress rather than let your emotion take over. Okay, stressful tolerance, coping with stressful situations, impact at work, emotional implication. As far as the stress tolerance is concerned, you approach stress confidently with clear mind and resilient. Likewise, I can withstand anything. That is called the attitude. Number 2, you may be missing the subtle or understated emotional hints that you are becoming overwhelmed. Often those with high tolerance stress are at risk for job burnout or exhaustions. Okay, stressful tolerance, coping up with stressful situations, impact at work, social and behavior implication. In my earlier slide, we have discussed emotional implication. Now we are going to discuss social and behavior implications. You may have the ability to tolerate stress and exert influence over the situation, likely to appear calming and even inspiring to colleagues. Your ability to cope with challenges. Number 2, your ability to cope with challenges likely allow you to assume the change leadership role, demonstrating a calm and focused demeanor. People likely seek you out for realistic assessment of a situation. You really blow the things out of proportion or let your emotion keep you from moving forward, preserving. Number three, note, however, that the holding your colleagues and direct reports on the same expectation for tolerating stress may come across a cold, unapathic, and even realistic if others are not resilient as you. So now we are going to discuss on my next slide our strategies as far as the stress tolerance is concerned. Okay, stressful tolerance, coping with stressful situations, strategies for actions. A little sign of exhaustion, be vigilant that you are not taking on too much. Subtle change or understated in your emotion may be signaling that you are close to exhaustion. Write down descriptions of your emotions and any accompanying physical sensations. Number two, when you notice emotion changes like hesitation to take on a new assignment, don't miss their importance. It is quite possible a sign that your high tolerance of stress is allowing you to take on too much. So this was the first strategy for action, and now we are going to second strategy for action as far as the stress tolerance is concerned. Okay, this is my second strategies for action: stressful tolerance, coping with stressful situations, leveraging your emotional intelligence. Your ability to withstand and cope with high levels of stress often puts you at an advantage. However, your colleague may not be as well equipped to handle the same frequency and intensity of stressors you can. Number one, leverage your other emotion intelligence skills, especially your interpersonal skill, to determine if the people you work with are not coping well with the same demand you are. Number two, when a new task is added to your team's priorities, suggested taking 5 minutes at the next meeting to talk about some proactive steps that you can take as a group to alleviate any associated stress if it's persisting. So now on my next slide, we will conclude with balanced emotion intelligence as far as the stress tolerance is concerned. Okay, now we're going to conclude our lecture, stress tolerance. So that is a balancing emotion intelligence, how to balance emotion intelligence as far as the stress tolerance is concerned. We have compared stress tolerance with problem solving, flexibility, interpersonal relationship. The sub-skill that differs the most from our stress tolerance is flexibility. Improving the interplay between these sub-scale is likely to significantly impact your overall emotional intelligence performance. Stress tolerance flexibility. Your stress tolerance is higher than your flexibility. Balancing these aspects of emotional intelligence involves using coping mechanism to deal with stressful situation while they are occurring. It also means changing tactics if the stressful situation has not been overcome. Number two, waiting out stressful events may work but is not a typical the best strategy. To facilitate a more active approach to dealing with stress, identify one small thing that could be changed about the stressful situation and push to change. However, even the most stress tolerate people need to adjust to their surroundings to avoid burnout. Thank you very much again for your important time to make this lecture a grand success. Thank you very much again. Thanks and stay blessed. Please don't hesitate. Send me your feedback on comments t.masood.dr@bath.edu. Thank you very much again and stay blessed.